Coach Nabi's tactical masterstroke outclassed Miguel Cardoso's tactics at Loftus Versfeld during the Nedbank Cup semi-finals. And coming into this game, Mamelodi Sundowns were hot favorites and Kaizer Chiefs were underdogs this time around. But what Coach Nabi did differently this time was to play with three centre-backs, using his left back, of which is Bradley Cross, as a left centre-back. Now he got Edmilson Dove at the centre with Given Msamango on his right. And at fullback's position, or rather the wing-backs, they had Solomons, who was playing as a right wing-back, and then they had Pule Moody. Surprisingly, Pule Moody was playing as a left wing-back. And these are the players that they had to deal with. Kuliso Modau coming up, and then Moody had to confront Kuliso Modau, with Solomons having to confront Divine Lunga. We know that Sundowns, they play without width in midfield because it's a diamond. So in that diamond, there is no width. There is the Homokwane at the base of the diamond. There was Obas on the right, Allende on the left, and on top of the diamond, there was Lucas Ribeiro. Up top, it was Peter Shalulu as well as Ikram Reyners. So with Kaizer Chiefs playing with three at the back, they ensured that they matched Sundowns, because Ribeiro, when he progressed into the forward line, he makes it three with Reyners and Shalulu. So Mamelodi Sundowns, they attacked with three, and then in the midfield they left with that three. Then it becomes easier for them to overwhelm opponents, because now they attack two centre-backs with three attackers. Now this time with Nabi playing with three centre-backs, with Bradley Cross, Edmilson Dove, and Given Msimango, he ensured that he retained his numerical superiority at the back to make sure that he matched Sundowns pound for pound, just like Orlando Pirates did in recent times when they played with Mbokazi, Tapelotoki, and Ngosnatis Bisi, to match Sundowns what they were doing. But what was key here for me was the tactical discipline displayed by Gaston Sorino and Pule Moody as well, because those are naturally offensive players. But how they help Kaizer Chiefs to maintain vertical and horizontal compactness within the structure, especially without the ball, was something that really needs to be commended. Because whenever Mamelodi Sundowns were building, especially towards the side of Divine Lunga, you will see Mikabit Lodi Lulepo pressing on the other side, and then with the young man, the Wandile Duba, coming slightly deeper, with Sereno slotting just in front of Yusuf Mart, who was outstanding as keeper as well. Yusuf Mart and Tabatel in the midfield. And by so doing, they ensured that they blocked the central passing lanes of Mamelodi Sundowns. They forced Mamelodi Sundowns to play into half spaces. And when the Sundowns went to half spaces, they had Simango, who was playing on the half space as a centre back. They've got Bradley Cross on the half space. Whenever Ribeiro tries to move to the other side, he had Cross, who dealt with him decisively on that channel. And then when he moves inside, you've got Thabo Tele, you've got Yusuf Marta, who are blocking him to penetrate centrally. So this was arguably one of the best tactical performances from Kaizer Chiefs, especially Pule Moody, because, as I said, he is not a defensive player, but he remained within the structure. Gaston Sorino, they had to sacrifice themselves a lot to help Kaizer Chiefs maintain the vertical compactness and the horizontal compactness of their structure. And this is arguably one of the best games I've seen Kaizer Chiefs play. Mamelodi Sundowns, they came. Normally they knew that when they play the way they've set up, they are going to win games. But this time around, Kaizer Chiefs, they've got a different mindset in terms of the discipline, because it was not about whether Mamelodi Sundowns being weak on the day, but it was how Kaizer Chiefs, they executed their plan. And credit must go to Coach Nabi for coming up with a plan of even thinking of playing Pule Moody as a wing back, or as a left wing back, of which it's something that I believe that even when Sundowns, they were looking at it ahead of the game, they saw a weakness there. They said that we can exploit the weakness of Moody. Since he's not a defensive player, they also knew that Gaston Sereno is not somebody who likes to track back a lot, and he can be temperamental as well. He can be provoked into yellow cards and all that. But as frustrated as he was in certain moments, Gaston Sorino got yellow card as well. He did very well on the day to make sure that Kaizer Chiefs, they match Sundowns. And I really need to applaud Coach Nabi to make sure that the wingbacks, his wingbacks, talking about Pule Moody and Solomons, they never allowed Divine Lunga as well as Kuliso Modau, who's very, very aggressive offensively. They never allowed them to attack as they would have liked. And then as a result, because Sundowns, they don't have width in midfield, they expected their fullbacks to give them width. But Solomons and Moody, they did very well to contain Modawu and define Lunga, of which is something that really worked perfectly with Duba linking up top with Lilepo, who was playing on the side as a winger. So they linked up well to make sure that they catch Sundowns on transition. And this was a good game for football, especially for Kaizer Chiefs, because since 2018-2019 season, when Kaizer Chiefs lost to TS Galaxy in the Nedbank Cup final, with Zakaria Lepasa scoring that penalty for TS Galaxy, Kaizer Chiefs never reached any final. And it's this season that Kaizer Chiefs managed to reach the final. And it was clear that Nabi knew that this is now or never for him. That is why he had to come up with tactics that will match Sundowns. And this is very important to note that the two centre-backs that we can say they were the main centre-back for Coach Nabi were not available. Ignacio Miguel was not available. Rashuen Dutli, who started the season together as a central pairing, they were not there. And then that had to force Nabi to reshuffle and play the new pairing, and then he had to get Simango on the right of his three-man backline and get Dove Edmondson in the center with Bradley Cross, who is naturally left back but playing as a left centre back. And I think that's where Coach Nabi did well to make sure that they deny Sundowns the space that they know Sundowns want to play into. Sundowns want to play with penetrative passing right through the channels into the center, progressing the ball into the legs of Reynolds up top and Shalule. But what Nabi did, he blocked the center and forced Sundowns to go wide. And when Sundowns go wide, they had left centre back working with the left wing back. They've got right centre back working with the right wing backs to block Sundowns to penetrate through half spaces. And even the goal when Sundowns they got, the goal that Sundowns had to score had to come from a free kick. And then just at a crucial time before halftime. And that changed the whole halftime talk of Coach Nabi, because when it's 0-0 going to halftime, there is a way the coach talks to the players. But when the opponents take the lead just before the halftime, it changed the whole talk of the halftime. But we saw Kaizer Chiefs showing a mental strength. If Chiefs they were not strong mentally, by the time going to halftime with 1-0, they would have really struggled to come back, because they know that, oh, here we go again. Because Sundowns, they've been beating Sundowns for some time now. But Sundowns have been beating Kaizer Chiefs for some time. But this time around, Kaizer Chiefs, they showed mental resilience, led by Wandile Duba, the young boy who has been injured for most part of the season. He came back very strongly to lead Kaizer Chiefs, and he has scored a few goals since his return. And his mental strength is something that really I need to commend. I need to commend the mental strength of Coach Nabi, because Wandile Duba, he led the line expertly, as young as he is. He did very well, and he was quick to press Luis Suarez for the first goal of Kaizer Chiefs. And he pressed Luis Suarez and he won the ball and went straight to beat Ronald Williams. And that goal is identical to the goal that was scored, I think, by Jaden Rose towards the end of last season. The only game that Mamelodi Sundowns lost, when Tobimvala was in possession of the ball, they were playing against Cape Town City. Jaden Rose, he pressed Tobimvala and he won the ball, and he went to score. Cape Town City beat Mamelodi Sundowns 1-0. The only game that Sundowns lost last season. So this was a similar picture that I saw with Wandile Duba there winning the ball from Suarez. And Suarez has been targeted by strikers. If you look even the game against Orlando Pirates, he really made a mockery out of him. He was playing, and this is the area that Kaizer Chiefs and their strikers, they targeted, as Wandile Duba said. So this is a tactical masterclass from Coach Nabi to match Sundowns the way he would have in every tracks that he would have tried. So credit to Coach Nabi and his entire technical staff for a job well done. What a defensive, tactical performance defensively. What a performance. Ashley Dupree came late to score the winning goal. What a game. Kaizer Chiefs back in Confederations Cup next season.